Hello people of the internet, today I will be talking about the unpopular Pyro class primary, which is not that thing. The unpopular, the other one. The Dragon's Fury. Is it good? Is it bad? Will we get a TF2 update ever again? Those are all very good questions, my friend. Now, let's actually go over the stats of this thing, because they're a bit complex. So, the Dragon's Fury fires projectiles which deal damage and set the enemies on fire, just like any other Pyro primary. It deals 25 damage but goes to 75 damage if the player is burning. This is because the Dragon's Fury gets 3 times damage towards burning targets. Now, it has a very slow air blast cooldown, which is about to 1.6 seconds, and in that time you cannot fire this thing at all. The base attack interval is also very slow at 0.8 seconds, and the afterburn is negligible at 3 seconds. Now, this would be pretty weak. But wait! There's more! It also gets a 50% faster repressurization rate on hit, which makes the attack cooldown 0.4 seconds, which in turn makes this able to fire 2.5 shots per second, which both can deal 75 damage, totaling about 138 to 180 damage on hit, provided your enemies are already burning, making this thing able to kill light classes and medics in just 1 second. Now, a lot of weapons can do high damage on this, but the Dragon's Fury is special. Not only is it rewarding as hell, but it's a Pyro primary, which means it can air blast, right? Oh, well, yes. But air blasting comes with this thing's main downside, which is the minus 50% repressurization rate on air blast, which means the attack interval after attack is a long 1.2 seconds to be exact, and as mentioned, the air blast interval is also very long, which also means that consistent air blasting rockets, pills, arrows, rescue ranger projectiles, like anything that you can reflect, is not possible, since everything you can reflect fires faster than this thing can air blast, meaning that air blasting is only useful for one-time escapes or warding off random crits, and because you attack slower after air blasting, this thing isn't really meant for air blasting, because it punishes you for it, kinda like the Phlogistonator. Now all this makes the weapon feel extremely slow. Now about the main attack. At base it deals 23 to 30 damage, but this triples when your target is burning. And any hit you hit lowers the attack cooldown to 0.4 seconds, which is probably the best thing about this, meaning that you can kill a heavy in 2.4 seconds, provided he doesn't, kill you first. Now, because this thing fires actually projectiles, it makes it very easy to miss, which is incredibly punishing since any non-hit will result in the painful 0.8 second attack cooldown. Also, kind of a hidden downside is that the Fury has 40 ammo, which is enough for using the main attack, but air blasting consumes 5, so you can only about like 8 times before you run out of ammo, which is pretty similar to the stack, but like it fires less projectiles overall, so again, it's kind of more punishing to miss. So there's actually a reason why players put this thing down, thinking it's bad. It's not bad, it's not bad at all, but it's complex and kind of tedious to use. So now with the stats actually covered, what weapon does this even pair well with? Well, first of all, don't bother with the shotguns. they provide zero benefit to the Fury. Now there are some viable options and some not much. Starting off with the flare gun. It is definitely a strong choice since it allows you to light up an enemy before going in. But for that, the Scorchat or Detonator are better. The ability to deal crits on burning enemies doesn't really synergize well, because the after a burn is so low you might not even bother. Now, the jetpack might sound like a good secondary, which it kind of is. It has the same name and that stuff. But it really doesn't do anything with the Fury since it just makes it easier to get behind or near your enemies, which is a benefit that affects all flamethrowers. And also it's loud as fuck. Also, if you're thinking about the gas blaster, then just stop it. Get some help. Now, onto the better options. The Scorchat is just amazing at going in. Since you don't have to bother with, well, the concept of aiming, and it has full afterburn, meaning you can start your fight with 3 times damage bonus. Now, it has one of the more amazing uses, which is, well, the stunning part. So when you actually hit an enemy and they get the scorch shot, kind of a stun effect, it will be easier to line up that first shot and get the combo going. And also if you do this combo on light class, they will end up with 121 HP and instantly die after them. So yeah, this is a pretty dangerous combo. Also, if you just use the scar shot in general, you will go to hell. Well, what if you don't want to go to hell? What if you want to help your team and ascend to heaven? Or if you hate yourself, then try the Man Melter and 99% off. Not only does it allow you to light up your enemies before going in, but it allows you to extinguish your teammates, which sucks on the flamethrowers, because well, you can just air blast your teammates, well, except for the flag. And why would you even want to extinguish with this thing then? Well, it is simple, my friend. This weapon basically negates the only listed downside of this weapon. And, as you might have guessed, the Fury sucks at extinguishing, because it's just so slow and it leaves you vulnerable for a little bit. But this thing just negates it, being basically a permanent extinguishing tool, as long as you hold it out, yeah? And with that, you get crits on the Malmartre for just negating a downside, which is amazing, I think. Which also means that if you fire the crit Malmartre at a person right before going in, your enemies will be 90 HP down, allowing you to deal the 3 times damage of the Dragon's Fury, which in total will do 165 HP. This sounds absolutely great, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. But the thing is, the Manmarker sucks in any other situation. And the score shot might also be better. Also ignoring the fact that it's nearly useless if there isn't an enemy pyro. You're not going to run into Cowman the Soldier, I promise. Now let's get to the last weapon, the Detonator, which is kind of an awkward weapon, since it basically is a discount score shot and the discount thermal thruster, allowing you to pre-fire without exact precision, but you still kind of have to time the detonation, if you miss, yeah, and imitating the jetpack badge of being an amazing flanking tool. So that's the secondaries covered. Let's see what melees you should use. Power jack. Well, maybe the fragment. No power jack. Now the power jack is just amazing and pairs with any pyro weapon. It probably is the best pyro melee, let's be honest. But there are 2 alternative options. The back scratcher and the homewrecker. The back scratcher allows you to be more independent and deals significant damage if you missed. So, since it deals 82 damage, which in fact is slightly more than Fury, it acts as a backup in case you miss your shot. Also, you can get a random crit, so yeah, that's nice. Now, the Homewrecker is slightly less interesting. The stat of dealing double damage to buildings is useless, so is the reduced damage. The inability to spy check of the Dragon's Fury is kind of an upside for this Homewrecker thing, so kind of negated by removing Sabers. But if you don't have an engineer, it's just no use. Also Neon Annihilator if you're going to for swords, I guess. So that concludes the secondary things and melees. Damn, this is long. Anyways, now how should you be using this thing? Since the Fury deals more damage in the stack, and the Blasting kind of sucks, the only thing that the Fury is good for is just being aggressive. You can't really defend since the Blast sucks again. Treat this like the Flock, but without the W plus M1 part. So, if you're using one month with this, you will want to play a bit more passively until you can extinguish like two people. I've experimented a bit and two seems to have the right balance of effort and reward, and then go burn some unfortunate victims. Now, using this with the detonator, you will want to play a bit like a backburner pyro of sorts, with all the flanks included, since getting the combo started without the enemy noticing you is very dangerous. And if you pre-light them, that just means they're going to get turned into dust. So I think that does it for me. I hope you learned something, I guess, and I very much hope you enjoy this Saints Drift. Writing the script took like 2 days, even though it's bad as fuck. Yeah, I'm not used to doing high effort projects like this, so it would very much boost my ego if you liked. And if you didn't like this, please do tell me why. I know everyone says it, but it's very important to someone who's starting this kind of thing. Well, time to quit rambling. I know I sounded like I'm out of breath for the entire thing, because I kinda was. I'm recording this under a blanket, and I hope you had a good one. Say hi, Kitty.